one of my favorite songs on the album is called Mecca. What is the line? We've a Mecca now. What do you mean by that?
Something to believe in. We've a kind of, we've a focus, an aim, a place to go, a place, that we kind of belong to. And I think it's hard to have that kind of place. And again, I think it's kind of talking about us as a group of people, and also it's about relationship. And when if you find a relationship and you have this kind of moment of again, epiphany, where it's like suddenly the route seems clear. You have a direction, you have a path, and that's kind of what it means.
And Mecca, why did you choose Mecca as a word?
Well, you say like New York was a Mecca for jazz, so jazz musicians emigrated to New York and that kind of thing. So our Mecca is, I think, more of a kind of, not to get too grandiose, but more of a spiritual place, a kind of a symbolic home, and that normally is where we're at work, or in a relationship. It's kind of can be, I don't know, a bedroom, but it's just a sense of having a direction, having a place to turn to.
Did you have the direction for this album that you have before the album, or was it something that formed while working on the album?
We had an idea about it. We had what we thought was a direction, but of course it changed a lot as we worked on it. I think we kind of knew it was going to be a bit more electronic. We kind of knew it was going to be a more aggressive sounding record, but more than that, it's really hard to say. I think a lot of it did, like I say, we took our time with it, but it was still in the last 2 weeks, it was still panic, like this needs to be done, so it's definitely, there's still a lot of there's a hell of a lot of accident on there, and that's fine, that's fine, that was always built in to what was going to happen, but equally, it would be a lie to say we knew exactly what we were doing,
How do you write together? I mean, lyric-wise, is it something that you bounce off each other, or?
I think we swap a bit. I think, I don't think either of us bring something to the table that's complete, because there's, if you work in collaborative, there's little room for completeness. So I think we come with lines missing, holes in things, and a vague skeleton, and we kind of bounce off each other, and it's kind of one person gets away with something, so you think I can get away with that as well, and we've been, after 4 albums, you do build your own language, you do have a code and a kind of a dictionary there that you can draw from, and I think we kind of had fun with that. I think we're probably more straightforward and at times more cliche than is expected of us. Because maybe in the past, speaking personally, I probably hid behind complexity a bit and maybe guarded painful ideas, and this time we felt a bit more galvanised and a bit more confident to be open.
Do you have an example of maybe words or lines that you used that you didn't dare to write on the previous album?
Probably a song like Palace is really kind of quite butt clenching, in a sense of it could very easily, it requires a believability. I think I could understand why someone might think it would be overly sentimental or syrupy, but I think you can't disown emotionality just because it's been hijacked for the wrong reasons at points, I think you've got to, I think we still deal with sincerity is still valuable. The problem is it's become commercially valuable as well.
Yeah.
So a song like that, I think, is probably more open-hearted than other songs have been.
Why specifically on this song more open-hearted?
On this song?
Yeah, I mean, why? What is the song about?
I think because it's a positive song. It's a song about kind of, the palace is kind of the metaphor for living, not in reality, but metaphorically living in luxury, living in a place of a lot of room and kind of achieving things that you didn't think you would be able to, both not in work, but kind of emotionally, being in a different space. And there's the book, the Poetics of Space, which kind of, for me, was a kind of a good jumping off point, as a kind of, it symbolised, this is a palace, and that was a squat. It kind of, it's positive because you move out of that dirty space.
Are you happy now, more happy than ever in this band?
I would say so. I'd say I am. Yeah, I think I hesitate to say that because things change. But I think it's just all it is happiness doesn't come from something that happens. It's something that you kind of you find a way of dealing with things. It's not that things don't get easier as you get older. The world doesn't get nicer. It's just you would kind of accept it. I think I think that is a theme for this record. It's it's about not it's about seeing things in a certain way.
For you too, are you happy now in this in the band? More happy than ever?
I think the naivety of youth has kind of dissolved, and what's left, I think, is a sense of you have to work for the things that are valuable. It's hard to attain the things that are valuable, and I think there's a big realisation for me personally when we started to do well and people started to come to our shows and we started to travel around the world, and I remember thinking, this is what I wanted. Why am I not happy about this? And it's a big realisation that those outside things don't generally make you happy, and I think this, I think we're all a bit more able to live with the mess that is being in a band. It's kind of impractical. It can be painful and it can be joyous, and all in all, it's unpredictable. And I think humans and people, it's difficult to live with unpredictability. We kind of build our lives around trying to build certainty, but
but the certainty you have are your songs.
I guess
exactly,
so. Yeah, inevitably you live through it a little bit, But it's a way of dealing with the world, As much as it is anything, it's a response to, as I've already said actually, but it's a response to what's going on.
Last question. You're playing Eurosonic Noorderslag.
Yeah.
Is it important for you?
The show itself,
Yeah.
Or playing live in general?
No, I mean playing at that festival.
Yeah, I think, we feel like there's a lot more people we can play to in Europe, and we're kind of, I think we feel, we feel very much a European band. I think we are more familiar with the kind of the grey skies of Europe than we are the blue skies of America, and I think a lot of mythology a lot of American mythology is lent upon too much, and I think in that sense, for us touring Europe and playing to people is really one of the joys of what we do, isn't it?
Yeah, I think having been to America a lot, I think we realise how European we actually are, and I think there's a lot. Holland's a wonderful place, and I think it's really nice to be honest, to be able to play these songs to people. That doesn't get boring, that never really gets old.
You said you feel like a European band because of the history and because of the way you feel as people?
Yeah, I think there's a sensibility to it. There's a European sensibility which is tolerance, I think, mutual tolerance, and also humour on a humorous level. I think, we're more Nordic than anything. We're from the kind of brutal north, and there's we're from near Scotland and near the Irish Sea, and I think there is this kind of it's almost morose humour that we're kind of fascinated by, that I think is quite unique to that part of the world.
Thank you for your time.
Thanks very much. Cheers.